You're listening to CreepGeeks Podcast. So it begins again. Welcome back to the CreepGeeks Podcast. I'm Greg.
I'm Omi.
And this is episode 308.
Bigfoot school lockdown, bird flu milk, vampire facial, and giant snake found in India.
Yes. All right, anyway, welcome back to the podcast. We do this occasionally. You know what I'm saying? When we have stuff we like to talk about. Anyway, this is a podcast that's basically absolutely free. Doesn't cost you anything at all except for your time. Time is something you can never get back.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying to be all angsty like The Cure. That was great value, Cure. We actually found the song on audio. We actually get our audio from a company called Audio. Or we pay a subscription and they're like, yeah, you can totally use this song. We're like, heck yeah. And then later on, they're like, oh, that's totally copyright. And I have to go, no, I have a license.
License.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, welcome back to the podcast. We talk about things we find to be interesting. There is a couple different ways you can interact with us. We do appreciate if you would use the toll-free number.
That phone number?
Yeah,
It's going to be 575-208-4025.
Because Google's like, hey, man, y'all need to use this phone number.
Yeah.
Or we're going to take it away. And I'm like, I'll show you. I'll call myself. And I wasn't available to take the call. I went straight to voicemail, right? We also have lots of internet ways. We have Facebook page, and we actually have everything, TikTok and all that jazz. YouTube, you can listen to the podcast and just let it play. It is hashtag listenable. That's, some people do that. I do that, what else?
You can also go to creepgeeks.com and click on the Contact Us form and fill that out.
Yes.
Share your story, share feedback about the show, share your thoughts, share show idea suggestions.
Yes.
We actually got an entry on there, and I need to go check it out.
Excuse me. What does it say?
I don't remember. That's why I said I need to go check it out.
Okay.
Yeah, and join our Facebook group. Facebook seems to be a majority of where our listeners currently are. So if you are on Facebook, find us in the Creep Geeks Facebook group. Suggest your show ideas, make your comments, start a discussion. Right now, it's usually me sharing interesting articles and memes. So, yeah.
Yeah. I give you a thumbs up when you do that.
Oh.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Somebody tried to call me out on it. Did you just thumbs up your own post? And I was like, yes.
It was funny though, because
I don't think people realize it's not just me or you that makes these posts.
Yeah. Oh.
So I never know what profile I'm in. So when I start liking stuff, a lot of times it's like me liking my own stuff.
Well, like I'm
like, what? I thought I was in a different group.
Our buddy Dirk actually shared something recently, and like somebody sent me a message saying, "Did you share that?" I'm like, "No, that's other people post in the group, y'all."
Yeah. Like, what does that mean?
Yeah. But oh well, join the group, y'all.
Yeah. I had somebody post something off of something I posted on my other one, Cheap Geek, and basically said, "This is not funny." And so I responded, "Yes, it is." And I never heard from him again. They're probably like, unfollow. I like when people do that. Unfollow. And it's like, ooh, okay. I'm leaving the group. Yeah. And it's like, all right, you don't have to let me know when you depart. Yes. You know what I mean? It's like, I get it. It happens.
You're not an airplane. So
yeah. No, we try to post funny stuff. So a previous podcast, we talked about an upcoming event that's basically happening this month on the 18th of May. It's the Western North Carolina Bigfoot Festival.
Yes.
Affectionately referred to as the Marion Bigfoot Festival because it takes place in Marion, North Carolina. Right?
Yes. It started years ago.
Yeah, you get to throw in the pandemic break and all that stuff, but it's been going on at least four or five times.
Yeah, I think so. 2019.
We've been to 3 of them.
2018.
But there's the break because of COVID.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's back. It's the biggest Bigfoot thing that happens in this area for sure. In Western North Carolina, most definitely. The city street gets basically inundated with Bigfoot people.
Yep.
And those are people that are fans of Bigfoot. They come and look for stuff. Plus, it's free, so people show up and there's something to do, of course.
Yeah, and I do want to stress that because, so I work in tourism within this community. We've had some people we're getting feedback that there are weird posts going around the internet saying people are charging for the festival, and that's not true. I actually have to work with the event organizers. The festival is free. The shuttle ride, there is no cost for that. So,
Yeah. What about, do you know if parking's free?
It should be, because you're supposed to be
I think certain areas are going to have free parking, but if it's a private business or company, they may or may not charge.
Maybe that's what's going on.
We did hear about shuttle bus last year where people were saying that they're paying for the shuttle or whatever, which is odd. But the festival itself is free. As far as we know, shuttle bus is free, so you don't have to walk, because it could be uphill depending on where you park. So, yeah. So if you have any questions about that sort of thing, you can definitely hit us up on Facebook, and we do have links to take you to different places if you want to check it out. It's a fun time. It's busy. Lots of vendors, lots of Bigfoot type stuff. There's going to be some speakers there.
There it is. Free shuttles will be available from McDowell High School, McDowell Tech Community College, Marion City Square Shopping Center, where Roses is located, and the Core Opening Memorial YMCA.
So if you're traveling from somewhere and you hit Marion to go to the Bigfoot Festival, you can go to the larger shopping center. It's just down the street and take a free shuttle. So if you're worried about parking, you don't necessarily have to. If you're a person who is not as ambulatory as you used to be and maybe use a wheelchair or have problems walking, take the shuttle.
Yeah.
It's easier to get in and out of it.
And plus,
and it's just something that I think about, when we go park places. Sometimes I don't want to walk that far.
Yeah. And
I can't walk that far.
This really is the largest Bigfoot festival in North Carolina. You are not going to be able to park downtown. I'm just going to say it.
Because the downtown is small.
And it's not even that small. I mean...
Well, it is. I mean, it's small. It's a small town. It's fine. It's fine that it's small.
But all of downtown is going to be full of vendors, speakers, authors, Bigfoot enthusiasts. Everyone's, doing Bigfoot stuff down there. Yeah. There's going to be their Bigfoot calling contest, like a Sasquatch call contest in Town Square. There's going to be various talks right there in the middle of Town Square. There will be a little author section where you can walk around. You can talk to some personalities in the Bigfoot and cryptid communities.
You probably see the mayor cruising around saying hello to people.
He actually does a declaration to start off the festival.
Yes.
That declaration declares North Carolina, or Marion, North Carolina, Bigfoot country, pretty much. It's a cool event, and some people overlook it, but
I don't.
The numbers speak for themselves, and I've been really passionate about trying to do my part to get the word out about this. I do want to thank a couple of people who've gone out of their way and helped us out, spread the word. Fate Magazine, Tobias at Singular Fortean Society. There's a bunch of different places that are reaching out, like Higgy Pop. That was really cool of them to put that up.
We have links in all of our show notes to take you to those places.
Yeah.
So that's pretty cool. So the McDowell Arts Council Association, affectionately known as MACA, is going to be having some Bigfoot stuff. Bigfoot pop-up shop. It's only going to have local artists, so you won't have to worry about paying $35 for a mass-produced T-shirt. That should be $7. You can get a locally made $35 T-shirt by a local artist, which is, in my world, better.
Yeah.
Because I don't want to buy a T-shirt to see the same T-shirt in every event you go to. I like sort of unique one-offs if we can get them. But at the same time, I'm not scared of swag, and there'll be plenty of Bigfoot swag. But I like the idea of local artists being able to.
You were talking about locally produced T-shirts. Maca did
created, what do you call it? Artisan.
Yeah, they did get their new T-shirts in, and it's really cool because they're like $25 or something like that. And the McDowell Arts Council Association one has their logo, and it says this is definitely getting paint on it because it's an art council. But then they also already have their Dia de los Muertos shirts. So those are really cool because they've got some traditional designs on them.
Very nice.
Yeah, but the pop-up shop is basically going to focus on some of the spooky and eccentric artists that are at MACA. McDowell Arts Council only features local artists within McDowell County. So a purchase there helps not just an artist, but it helps the Art Council continue to offer all the services they provide to the art community. So some of the artists that are taking part in the little Bigfoot pop-up are going to be Barbara L. Kahn, this really cool artist, illustrator guy. His name's Christopher Nelson. He's done some really neat little black bear stickers and logos for different organizations in Western North Carolina. So he made one for like Little Switzerland, and it's got like all this like really specific Western North Carolina stuff on it. Gina Newton, she's going to have her candles and other creations. Carolina Pine Prince has actually come out with like one or two new Bigfoot things, so definitely go down there. And then I'm going to be there as both Creep Geeks and Crafted Intent. So,
yes.
Yeah.
And I am probably going to be at home. What? It depends, man. I mean, I don't know exactly what's going on.
Like last year, I got there at like 7 a.m. to help.
That was awesome.
It was a lot, y'all.
It's a good time. So, very nice. Thank you very much for sharing the links with Singular 14 and Fate Magazine and all that good stuff. So, you should check it out. May 18th. Marion Bigfoot. So, our last episode, we talked about cicadas, right? Or cicadas, whatever you want to call them, and about the zombie sex cicadas. Well, evidently, there is an obvious article that's been put out that I figured we should share. Cicadas are so noisy in a South Carolina county that residents are calling the police. What are you going to do? I just thought that was funny. You need to. I could just see somebody just getting all aggravated and just calling the cops.
The Newberry County.
That's as bad as basically saying, "Hey, this, I went to this national park, right?" And you're like, "Oh, it's great. It's a great park." And then somebody's like, "This park sucks. Wi-Fi was awful." That kind of thing. Cell phone service is terrible. These cicadas are too loud.
Yeah, and I guess the Newberry County Sheriff's Office sent out a message on Facebook on Tuesday letting people know that the whining sound is just the male cicada singing to attract mates after more than a decade of being dormant. Some people have even flagged.
You didn't have to stop. I was just pointing. When I point at stuff, don't stop. Just keep rolling
pointing,
with it.
So
well, the dog's got thunder ears.
Oh, okay.
We have a dog named Pepper. She's Paranormal Pepper. She does things. She's very chill. We take her to events, and she sits there in her little cart, silently judging people. She's our manager. She also has this talent of being terrified when a storm comes. So normally she runs up to one of us, and we pick her up and hold her when a storm comes, and then she gets underneath chairs and that sort of thing. But she's got her thunder ears on. And your dog, if you have one, may have them too, where they lay their ears back and sort of turn it sideways and their eyes get really bright.
But she's staring at us like we did it.
Yeah. It's like, you need to protect me. It's like, I'm doing what I can. So these things are, the noises, cicadas are moving around the country.
Yeah. But
around the county. This county, what is it? Newberry has 38,000 people.
Yeah. And
so
people are even flagging down deputies to ask what the noise is all about.
Okay, first off, I don't believe that. How can you live
in the country?
In the U.S. or anywhere in the South and go, "Oh, what is that noise?" It's cicada, man.
Yeah. So, I remember
the collective songs can be as loud as jet engines, homie. I think that's a little bit.
I'm not. So, apparently when I was a kid and we moved from Hawaii to Virginia Beach, that particular year was very bad with cicadas as well. And it was so bad I couldn't sleep to the point where my parents took me to the doctor because I was just like, what is that noise? And it just
figures.
Yeah. I'm still like that as an adult. If there's too much cicada noise, I won't sleep.
I will sleep like a baby.
Of course
I need Well, I mean, that's the military, man.
So,
I need that noise. I need that white noise.
But I don't understand, like you were saying, how people could call the cops on
yeah, there's all sorts of terrible articles. If you want, this is an apnews.com link, and down if you would like to read more, you have such a nice articles like periodic cicadas remain buried for years. Now they're emerging on a menu.
Yeah,
cicadas are nature's weirdos. They pee stronger than us, and an STD can turn them into zombies. We talked about that one last podcast. So yeah, Cicada-geddon. It's the biggest one in centuries or whatever. So anyway, that's enough of that. So if you hear the all that stuff, it's probably, I can't do that again, but it's cicadas. So, or cicadas, whatever you want to call them. This I had to put in here because not only were we talking about Western North Carolina Bigfoot, or Marion Bigfoot Festival, as it's affectionately termed, on May 18th, which starts at but early and ends late in the afternoon. 5. Yeah. So Bigfoot evidently caused a school lockdown. So, of course, I immediately threw it in the podcast and didn't read it because that's part of the fun, right? So I can look at it, too, and go, what?
Yeah. Well,
at least for certain things.
This does kind of, it's alarming, but an Ohio school district briefly entered into a lockdown after a misguided prankster dressed as Bigfoot was spotted roaming around on campus. The weird incident reportedly occurred on Wednesday morning at the Firelands local school district in the community of Oberlin. Although a social media announcement about the situation simply stated that buildings had been locked down due to an unknown visitor, online chatter quickly revealed that the interloper was one of the cryptozoological variety. I'm sorry, that sentence just got me. As several students captured video of what appeared to be Sasquatch outside. The school district subsequently confirmed the peculiar sighting, telling a local TV station that the unauthorized visitor was someone wearing a menacing-looking Bigfoot costume.
Okay, so this guy was wearing the angry Bigfoot costume and not the Harry and the Hendersons, like, I'm so happy Bigfoot costume. Yeah. So it makes you wonder, how many people really thought it was Bigfoot? I'm sure since they're kids, some kids really thought that, but I just thought that was a cool headline. I'd probably be more freaked out if it was a dude running around in a ghillie suit than a Bigfoot costume.
Yeah, and see, that's part of it, too, because, regardless that it could have been a ghillie suit. It could have been a hot dog costume from last Halloween. It could have been anything. Somebody went onto school property during school hours dressed as something.
What if it was some dude who was late for a school presentation for his kid? Maybe, got a kid's like, I like cryptozoological animals. Okay. And then the dad's like running around because he couldn't find one of the feet or whatever. And then he gets there late and he's like trying to try all the doors to get in because he wants to do the best he can. And it's 1,000 degrees in that suit and he can't see. And he's just grabbing the doors and jerking them, trying to get in there to try to go to the kid's show and tell class or whatever. Okay. And then when the cops show up, he just runs off and goes home and then tells his kid, I'm sorry, man. I couldn't make it.
So I went to the original article, and it basically says that the unknown person parked in a school parking lot and crossed the campus while in costume, but never entered any of the buildings. During this time,
that's creepy then.
Yeah. During this time, some students at FES were outside and had to move quickly inside to safety. The school day was negatively impacted, and although lockdown drills are practiced regularly, the situation caused understandable concern and disruption.
Yeah.
See, yeah.
Well, that's not as funny as I thought. It's not as funny as some of the videos you see. Where there's one in particular where they're at a lake. Yeah. These kids and their dad, I guess, dressed up like Bigfoot and went running at him full speed, and those kids took off. It was terribly funny.
But you were right. According to the Lorain County Sheriff's Office, the person inside the costume appears to have been a parent who came to the school property as part of a prom prank. Yeah. Officials say the school resource officer was able to pull the person over as part of a traffic stop. So, yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. But see,
all right, you know what?
Yeah.
All right, that's enough of that. We're going to talk about a giant snake in India, and the reason why I put this in here is because this could be a cryptozoological type snake that showed up in the past. Yeah. I was trying to think of that stupid snake from Harry Potter where he stabs it. with the sword. I don't know what it was called, but because in Ireland they have like big snake, right? The white snake, whatever it was a legend. There's lots of legends out there with these very large snakes.
So Harry Potter, I guess it was a Nagini, which was pretty much a basilisk.
Yeah, it was basilisk is what I was looking for. I couldn't remember.
The serpent of Slytherin.
Yeah, nerds. But
I don't.
This particular giant ancient snake is purported to be longer than a school bus and weighed at least a ton. So that's like, what, 2,536 pound snake? So an ancient giant snake in India may have been longer than a school bus and weighed a ton. And so they found some fossils near a coal mine, and they revealed that snake is an estimated 36 feet, roughly, or 11 meters, right, to 50 feet, or 15 meters. That's huge. Yeah. The largest known snake right now is basically 13 meters, which is 42 feet.
The reticulated python is 32.8 feet.
Let's just round it up when you're dealing with a snake that big. Yeah. Let's just call it 33 feet. Okay. So they're saying that this newly discovered behemoth snake lived 47 million years ago in western India's swampy evergreen forest, and it could have weighed up to 2,200 pounds roughly, or 1,000 kilograms. That's kind of crazy, right?
Yeah.
That's a huge snake. It's relatively recent, so they gave the snake the name Vasuki indicus, which is basically named after King Vasuki, the snake king.
Huh. Okay.
Basically, he wraps around the neck of the Hindu deity Shiva. So, yeah. Huh. Considering its large size, it's more than likely a slow-moving ambush predator and would subdue its prey through constriction.
Yeah.
Now they're just guessing. This could have been a big snake that they just think, oh, he's big, so he's slow.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's lots of people out there who've been fooled by that. There's lots of professional wrestlers who've been fooled by that. Oh, he's just big and he's slow. You know, there's some big, fast guys, right?
Mm-hmm.
So they found the backbone of this snake in 2005. And so researchers compared it to more than 20 other different fossil vertebrates in the area there.
Yeah.
I mean, these are of living snakes to try to compare the size to it. And so it's not clear what this thing ate. It'd have to eat something big.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it lived in the swampy areas along catfish, turtles, crocodiles, primitive whales, which may have been its prey. And the other extinct giant snake, which is Titan boa, was discovered in Colombia and is estimated to have lived around 60 million years ago. So part of the reason I put this in here, big snakes seem to be appearing in anywhere that can support them throughout the fossil history.
Yeah.
So it opens the door, man. Big giant snakes, things like basilisk and stuff like that, and legends and mythology about like the white snake and all these huge giant snakes and flying snakes and feathered snakes and all sorts of stuff. Right?
Okay.
The devil was supposed to be a snake in Adam and Eve.
Huh.
So who's to say that dragons aren't next? They're going to find a dragon.
No.
I still think it's funny that like Benjamin Franklin and George Washington didn't know that dinosaurs existed. They had to have found some bones. What did they think they were? I mean, it's not like they didn't exist. I mean, it's relatively recent, the 1600s, right? Earlier. So they think these snakes are like giant cold-blooded animals, and snakes require higher temperatures to grow into large sizes. What if this snake was warm-blooded? Is there any cold-blooded birds out there? I was just thinking about dinosaurs, how they think that they actually have feathers. So typically we refer to like things like this cold-blooded stuff as reptiles, but what if you have a warm-blooded dinosaur grows feathers, right? Aren't all birds warm-blooded, mostly?
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe I need to watch some nature shows. That's a giant snake.
It is a giant snake.
And they're finding them everywhere.
I know.
That's the thing. So they found them like, Mayans and Aztecs and anywhere they could support them.
My thing is like,
how come we don't have a big giant snake like that here in the U.S. and North America, like where we are in the middle of North America, not like Canada's hat, which is America. I mean, Canada, which is America's hat, and then, below us.
Different.
Like Mexico and. South America type stuff.
Way back then, everything was a different environment. So
yeah, we got swamps in Virginia. They could live there.
Before Virginia was a swamp, it was just straight water. So
you mean like a sea?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
It was like, yeah. So some of these areas where we find similar creatures, we have to think about what the continents looked like at that time. Just like there's like that whole continental divide and ridge out there in the southwest, which is why you find all those sea fossils. You find ammonites and urchins and stuff like that.
Well, yeah. The question is that if these things are cold-blooded and global warming is occurring or climate change, things are warming up.
Are they going to come back?
Yeah. Well, according to a theory, which means it's just a guess, it's possible, but they're saying that the amount of warmness that's occurring is happening too quickly for snakes to evolve to be giants.
And the distribution of gases is different right now. So back then...
Well, that's just a guess, but I'm looking at like, what if these things can eat radioactive stuff? We've been watching Fallout, right? A couple 100 years. What's up? Big giant cockroaches, what do they call them, rad roaches?
Way, way back then, not only were the continents different and the temperature was different, but the gases distributed.
Look, man, things are faster now, Omi. You can get news in an instant.
Animals got smaller.
Things are so much quicker now. It took a long time to do anything back then.
Yes, it did. Things got smaller because of it. Now, climates are changing and stuff is accelerating too quickly. And it may be accelerating so quickly that animals and humans cannot evolve and adapt.
Why are you aggressively gesticulating?
Because you're just like, oh, it's going to happen like Fallout. TV says it's going to happen. That's what you're
Things are so much faster now.
I want my Amazon
can you
Prime
imagine
dinosaurs.
being back in that? Things would just be slow back then. So slow. It'd be very boring. I mean, milk has bird flu in it.
Oh, gosh.
You want some of that? So here's the deal. This was a thing that popped up, and I was like, what? Traces of bird flu are showing up in cow milk. Yeah. This is according to Science News, but I have seen it in other places. I put Science News because it didn't have a pop-up when I click on it, so that's always nice. So evidently, the bird flu has been around for a minute. It's been spreading from cows, spreading between cows for months, and that they're finding fragments of the virus showing up in milk on U.S. grocery store shelves. Now, here's the thing. The milk that you buy in the store is normally pasteurized, right? It's supposed to be blasted with a whole bunch of heat and stuff, and they're still finding little fragments of bird flu in there. I can see if it was raw milk. You know, raw milk, you get what you get. Whatever's in it, you're going to get it too. Ingested, right? So the question is that, this virus, which is, highly pathogenic avian influenza H5N1, how is it adapting to better infect mammals?
So we put this in here a couple days ago. Since then, I have opened up Google and done another news search dive, and they're reporting anywhere from certain dairy workers catching it, and it just says like dairy farm worker or farm worker. One of them most recently, dairy worker with bird flu never developed respiratory symptoms. Only pink eye. So the new report detailing the man's case suspects he was infected by rubbing his eyes with a contaminated hand.
Okay, well that's how you get it from a cow, but this is in the milk, which you don't have to be a dairy worker to drink milk.
Yeah.
That's scary.
Yeah.
Because if it's showing up in milk and they're saying, oh, it's just a low amount, right? Mm-hmm. They say that, because of milk pasteurization and the way the bird flu viruses are spread, the risk to people remains low. It's still freaking there. If you're going to pasteurize stuff, what do you got to do to get rid of that? So we got enough stuff going on.
And here's the thing though, because this is spreading so rapid, or it's spreading at a noticeable pace.
Yeah. 1 in 5 samples contain bits of this virus's
people
RNA.
Are more worried about the cases going undetected amongst dairy farmers.
Because they could spread it.
Because they would be the ones spreading it. So we may be pasteurizing the milk, but we're not pasteurizing the farm worker who's delivering it to the processing plant.
Do you know how many milk farm worker guys I've been in contact with in the past year? 0. You know how much milk I started drinking again because the doctor said I'm low in calcium? Lots.
Yeah.
And think about if you're getting your milk from somewhere like Walmart, where it's a whole lot cheaper per gallon than anywhere else. I mean, what's the higher likelihood? That's mass-produced, mass quantity milk type stuff.
Yeah. Also, though, they're really keeping an eye on this because, they're not understanding how far the bird flu has spread.
Yeah, because it's only recently been found in cattle that they haven't really been directly testing for it. So the FDA hasn't really been directly testing the ability of milk's pasteurization process to kill the virus.
Yeah. They are saying, though, the step before getting it pasteurized, being a dairy farm worker or being a farm worker in general, basically that's where these people are catching it, specifically in Texas.
Okay. But yeah, that's just the people that are catching it. I was talking about there's bird flu in milk.
Mm-hmm.
So there are two different things we're talking about here. Yes, you can catch it from somebody who's been infected with it, but if it's in the milk, that's a problem. And they need to actually see how much of a problem it really is. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because even if you look at the process when they go through, I believe that all these gallon jugs and plastic jugs of milk, they get washed and everything like that. So if you have a contaminated milker, what's a milk farmer?
Dairy worker.
Dairy farmer, right? Grabbing on the milk and doing all that stuff, it's still washed. So there's less likelihood of getting contaminated from the milk guy than what's in the milk.
The milk pasteurization process should minimize the risk and keep it very low.
That's what they're saying, but my point is, and I thought it wasn't even worth talking about, right? But then I read the FDA hasn't even been testing for it. So you can't just say, yeah, the heat should take care of that when they don't actually know. This is something we probably should keep an eye on because bird flu is spreading in the U.S., right? Kansas and Texas in March. The virus has been found in dairy cows in 8 different states. It's been found in poultry in 5 different states, which is bird flu. You think it'd be found more there than anywhere.
But all the cases are cases of people who came in contact with the milk before the pasteurization.
Okay, but this is testing the milk itself. Inside the milk, it's showing traces of bird flu.
Yeah.
We're talking about 2 different things, so you don't need to keep circling back to me. I understand that. If a person has it, sure. If it's in the milk, those are 2 separate things.
We haven't had anybody get sick from the milk yet.
That we know of. They haven't even started testing for it. We had the same sort of argument at one time, and then magically 2 months later, what happened? COVID. 3 months later, our websites and stuff got taken down because of this stuff. And we were talking about the labs in China and all that stuff beforehand. This might be the next thing.
No.
So there you go. If you get bird flu, you heard it here first. By drinking a big old frothy glass of milk, vitamin D.
Or being exposed to a dairy worker.
I have not been exposed to a dairy worker, Omi. I have been exposed to gallons of milk.
And nobody has gotten sick yet.
That we are aware of, that nobody is looking for. They're trying to say, oh, well, he didn't really have the respiratory symptoms of bird flu. He just had pink eye. So what about these people just having pink eye? Could be bird flu.
Their doctors should expand their testing.
Doctors don't. Doctors these days treat symptoms. They don't go for a cure. They're going to look at it and go, yep, you got pink eye, and think it's a real easy thing and send you on your way. Only to find out later on you don't have pink eye. You have uveitis and then ankylosing spondylitis. And they're like, you need to go to University of New Mexico and hook up with the ophthalmology and talk to the head dude. And then the head dude's like, no, you need to take him. And then the second head dude's like, you need to show up every week. I need to see you every week. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
And then boom, there you go. Podcast, broken neck, COVID. It's all a thing. So yeah. So the findings are still preliminary and haven't been independently verified by other scientists, but the overall is suggested that bird flu in cattle is probably more widespread than what we've identified based on reported cases on the USDA dashboard where people report stuff. And it says it's
as of Friday, 36 herds in 9 states: Colorado, Idaho, Kansas, Michigan, New Mexico, North Carolina, South Dakota, Ohio, and Texas have been affected by the outbreak.
That's pretty much everywhere you'd want to grow cow stuff, right? This is a thing, man. So hopefully it's not bad. I don't know how bad the bird flu would affect people.
It's bad.
Yeah. But I mean, is it, how bad is it? It's like.
Well, data from other countries show the virus can have a fatality rate of more than 50% in humans.
That's not good.
Yeah.
So let's keep an eye on it, everybody. So I'm not saying stop drinking milk, but at the same time, I mean, I don't know what
don't think
the pasteurization process is there to sort of, take care of that sort of thing. So really some more testing needs to be done and go, okay, so drinking pasteurized milk gives you a lower likelihood of getting it. I don't know what the deal is, but it's something. So anyway, all right, so enough of that gloom and doom. Let's move into something that's even better. Vampire facials can cause HIV.
What?
So first, two things. I didn't know there was such a thing called a vampire facial, right? And I didn't know that you can get HIV from it. So I had to click the link. And this is basically something that occurred this is from BBC's website, right?
I remember
how vampire facials infected 3 women with HIV.
Mm-hmm.
So at least 3 women were infected at a spa in New Mexico in 2018. We actually talked about this in the podcast back in 2018, right? So they are believed to be the first ever HIV transmissions related to a cosmetic procedure done in the U.S.
Wow.
So what exactly is a vampire facial, and how did these women get HIV? It's a breakdown, and it kind of goes like this. It involves when you take patient's blood.
Yes.
And then you separate the platelet-rich plasma by spinning it or using a centrifuge. And then they take that plasma and they inject it back into the face through tiny needle punctures. And this procedure is supposed to help repair the skin barrier by stimulating the production of new collagen and elastin, which can basically reduce the appearance of wrinkles, acne scars, old-looking. So, it's been around for a while, and reality television star Kim Kardashian, she shared a picture, and it looks like she looks like a professional wrestler. You know what I mean? Where they have the bloody face and everything. Mm-hmm. If you look back at the old school wrestlers like Ric Flair and those guys, they had like shockingly white hair, and it'd be like this raging bloody red face. And then they said you can't show that on TV in the U.S. That's too dangerous or too bad. Mm-hmm. But in Japan, every magazine that showed wrestlers, they all had bloody faces. Because when the wrestler would drop to the ground if he got body slammed or whatever, and he would basically cut his forehead because your forehead bleeds a lot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they got a picture of Kim Kardashian's bloody face. And it looks like, her whole face is bloody, right? So these New Mexico women, they came in contact with HIV, and they say in 2018, these women were aged 40 to 50. They all tested positive, right? These 3 women tested positive. And the women have no history of injection, drug use, recent blood transfusions, sexual contact with anyone who, may be carrying HIV. Mm-hmm. But they all got vampire facials. So they did an investigation, the CDC, and they said, let's take a look. And they looked at it, right? And this spa did more than just do the vampire facials. They had other injection services like Botox and other stuff.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is that it was an unlicensed location. And this place had multiple unsafe infection control practices. They had like unlabeled tubes of blood, like weird medical injectables. They were all stored in a kitchen fridge next to food. Yeah. So you go in and you probably got a couple like delicious tinfoil wrapped lunches next to vials of weird blood. They were unwrapped syringes in drawers. On counters.
I was trying to look up the name of the spa.
Some of these blood vials, they had like signs of being reused because medical stuff's expensive, probably because you don't want to infect yourself with a disease,
Yeah.
And then they identified at least one of the clients who tested positive for HIV before they even visited the spa. Right? And so the health agency basically has tied the spa to at least 5 cases of HIV, and including these 4 women who had the vampire facial treatment between May and September of 2018, and a dude who was romantically linked to one of the women.
Oh, God.
So these late-stage HIV infections, indicated that they had contacted the disease before the facial. So now you've got people that went in there to get the vampire facial and they had HIV. And with this place's terrible, medically unsafe practices, who's to say they didn't just start reusing the syringe needles?
That's exactly what they're suggesting, especially with the fact that the owner of the spa only had a cosmetology license, which had expired in 2013. So she was out there offering these $100 vampire facials. Remember earlier in the article, we said that they're $1,000 to $2,000.
She was doing it for $100.
Yeah.
You know, I'm all about saving money, but if there's like a 90% off deal, you got to look at that.
And she was doing it with the micro needling tools. If you look those up on Google, you know that they have lots of little holes and lots of little needles, which means they're okay if you're only using them on yourself. If you're in a spa, I would hope you were single-using those.
It's kind of like back when the big thing why places didn't have tattoo parlors is they would say the same thing. Well, you're going to get hepatitis. Even though they put needles in autoclaves and some places only use single-serve needles, that sort of thing. Yeah. Well, if they're not clean, you're going to get hepatitis. I mean, hepatitis is bad, but I'd rather get hepatitis from a tattoo. I mean, sure, there's other things you can get. I'm just subjectively looking at it. You know, which one do you want, HIV or hepatitis? According to the shows that we watch at night, the commercial breaks in between with all the pharmacology stuff, it's like you can evidently take care of both of these with a pill. So are these cosmetic procedures like vampire facials safe? So there's been hundreds of papers that have been published and trials suggest that they're safe and effective for some sports injuries, acne, eczema, other skin conditions, right?
Yeah.
So the procedure is considered safe, but the biggest risk comes from the way the blood is handled by the facility and how they're providing the storage and actually doing the treatment itself. In other words, the process of doing the procedure.
And you can say the same thing, like not just this vampire facial thing, but like, you know, there was this botulism outbreak and it was tied to counterfeit Botox.
Yeah.
Sickened 22 people in 11 states, some of whom had to go to the hospital. And botulism is a serious illness.
Yeah.
And if you have like these little vials of Botox and you do not follow the care and, you know, handling of them, and they sit out or whatever, they're going to turn into botulism, and you're
botulism will kill you.
Sorry, they're going to turn into active botulism.
Yeah.
You know? And the same could be said with like these Botox parties that people are doing at home, as well as some of these facial type parties that happen at home. You mishandle this equipment that used to be like...
It needs to be sterile.
Yeah.
So I actually seen a Botox ad.
Yeah.
Said, hey, come get you some Botox. And it had the dude who had like an expressionless face. I'm like, oh, look how natural he looks. I'm like, that guy looks like a freaking, you know.
But the same thing happens for like they're trying to use Botox for migraines and some other stuff.
Yeah.
You know, but it's gross. So the shock value there is that it's this gross facial procedure.
I can't believe you said that.
Yeah, I mean...
we should play a commercial and talk about that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know, man. Between milk having bird flu, vampire facials giving you some HIV, Bigfoot's causing a lockdown. It's crazy, right? Cicadas are loud. So basically, we're sitting here at the end of the podcast.
Oh.
We've already gone through all the articles that I was going to put in here, and it's like, I thought it would take longer. Are we on a roll? Are we just being more efficient?
Yeah, I don't think... Efficiency.
Are we that good?
I don't think efficiency anywhere near us.
That's true.
No.
Well, I mean, this particular podcast episode is mainly about some of the weird news, and sometimes you find these news things. You're like, this is crazy, because news is current. Mm-hmm. I like that. You know, a lot of stuff that seems to be popular in the news is sort of not evergreen. You get it and it's gone. Some things lead into other things. Like this instance of bird flu is going to turn into something else. It's another thing to worry about. The instance of the bat flu turned into something else. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of good to keep an eye on it. So I'm more worried about that sort of thing during this particular junction than a dude who didn't work out the prank correctly and did a prom prank and almost got arrested and caused a school lockdown. So if it's a kid's dad, he'll never ever live that down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Try to do a prom prank and shut down the whole school, Dad. Thanks, Dad, you loser. You know, that kind of, it is what it is, I guess.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, we could talk about some basic obvious stuff like how the principle of replication strengthens paranormal investigations. You mean repeating the process until you become efficient at it and then sticking to it, and then it becomes what? A better process? A better method? That's dumb. Everybody knows that, right? I mean, think about it. If your job, it's like when you try to do crafts. The first time you try to attempt this 5-minute craft, it just all goes to hell, right? It doesn't work out at all. And then you do it 3 or 4 times and you get good at it. And then you've done it 100 times and you still can't do it in 5 minutes, but the result looks better. Right?
Okay.
I mean, I've seen you do crafts and the first time, I got to lie about it and go, oh, it's amazing. But then the third time, like, that's incredible. That is a huge difference. And if I said you are 400% better doing this than you were when you originally attempted it, then the lie would be out and you'd be all mad at me. Because you wouldn't be like, oh, this is a wonderful compliment. You'd be like, that man. Mm-hmm. I don't know. So anyway, do you have anything you'd like to add? You'd like to sort of top up with the old whatever? The Bigfoot thing's coming, man.
No, I think we're good. I'm very busy with the upcoming festival season because it's not just Bigfoot. There's other stuff that's going on. I think they're going to have like the Paranormal Road Tripper, and they're going to have some paranormal authors there. But for me, it's pretty much the kickoff of festival season for this whole region. Still, there are going to be some great personalities and celebrities there and researchers as well. So make sure you go to the WNC Bigfoot Festival. And
Paranormal Road Tripper's a nice guy.
Like I was trying to say, festival season's picking up, so we're going to be very busy soon.
Yeah, that's true. Very nice. So anyway, I will say one thing. It's not in August. It's in May. It's not terribly, terribly hot. You do have to watch for rain, though. So if you do this Bigfoot Festival in Marion, bring a raincoat or a tarp or something. Last time we did it, it was horrendous rain. But it was still crazy busy. That was the thing. They still had a ton of people.
Yeah.
So anyway, I do appreciate you taking the time to listen to the old CreepGeeks podcast. If you have any questions, comments, concerns, let us know. So we'll be back again here pretty soon. So yeah, there you go. You good?
Yep.
All right, anyway, see you later. Right. Take it easy. Bye, Sickle.
Bye.
With me, but the truth is written like a sign.